My name is Bilikis. You're welcome to my channel. If this is your first time of checking out this channel, you're welcome. But don't forget to hit the subscribe button down there. Then you'll see a bell. Just try to click on the bell. The tools are still very much available. The hip curve, the pan curve, and the armor curve. In case you are interested, I will put the contact number in the comment section below. It will be pinned, so that will be the first comment you will see. So guess what we'll be making today? A front slit jacket. Yes, and it's the easiest thing ever. Yes, Bilikis always says that. So now I'll be making use of two fabrics. I will be making use of this, and this will be for mixing it up at the neck region and the slit region plus the pocket. So right now let's get started. So now I have my fabric on fold. You need just 2 yards of fabric to make this. Can you see I have this on fold and I have 2 pieces. So this will be for the front and this will be for the back. I will place this on each other. Then we can get started with our measurements. So the first thing now is to draw a straight line here, which will be the basis for all the measurements. After doing that, you have to note the length of your jacket. I want it to be 40, but I could just make it 43 or 44 so as to have a wide turn-up. So the next thing now is to insert half of my armhole. You should be familiar with all these if you've been watching my video. Half of my armhole is 8.5, which is here. The next thing will be the waist. My waist is 16.5. The next will be my hip. Hip measurement, that is vertically, is 24, which is here. Then the length of my jacket, so that will be 40. I want it to be 40, but because I want a wide turn up, so by the time I turn this in, I want it to be somewhere around here to stop and still have the end of my jacket here. So I could just leave this, or better still, I could just make it 43. So what I will do now is to turn all these points into a straight line. So right now I have all the points into a straight line. I'll go over it again. Half of my armhole, my waist, my hip, and the length of my top. So the next thing now is to go over to our horizontal measurement. The next thing now is to start from half of the armhole, which we use to determine our chest line. So I will insert my bust measurement here. Quarter of my bust measurement is 10.5, but because it's a free jacket, I'll just make it 11. This is 11 inches here. Then I will add 1 inch for the hemming allowance. Can you see that? So the next thing will be to go to the waist. Quarter of my waist is 9.5, but because it's a very free top, I'll just make it 10.5, which is here. And then 1 inch for the hemming allowance. Then I'll go over to my hip measurement. Quarter of my hip measurement is 11, but because I want it to be free, I'll just make it 12 inches, which is here. And then 1 inch for the hemming allowance. Do not worry about the measurement. We will use the same measurement for both the front and the back because it's front slit, so you don't have to worry about whether the front will be longer than the back. We will use the same measurement for it. So now at the hem of the jacket, so if you want it a little bit tapered, as I've always said in my dresses, just go in by 1 inch. Like here I use 12, so for this part you will make use of 11, but you could just decide to make it straight because it's a jacket. So it depends, it totally depends on what you want. So I will be using the same measurement I used here. I will use it here, so which will be 12 inches. And then 1 inch hemming allowance. Can you see that? So the next thing now is to connect all these lines. So the next thing is to use my hip cord to connect from the waist. Can you see that? The next thing is to take my ruler and then connect from the hip area down to where I want the jacket to stop. So can you see what our jacket looks like? we are almost done. So right now let's go over to the armhole area. So for this part, first we have to insert the 3 inches, 8 inches standard. By now you should be familiar with all this. So the 3 inches, 8 inches standard. This is used to determine the shoulder slope. The next thing is to come down by 1 inch. And take your ruler and connect to the 3 inches point. The next thing now is to insert my shoulder measurement. My shoulder measurement, that is half of that, is 8.5, which is after the 8 inches standard. But if yours is 7, then you have to move forward here. So 7 will be here before the 8 inches standard. So the same shoulder measurement in which I measured the 8.5, I will bring it to the chest line. Then use my ruler to connect in a straight line. So this is what I have. The next thing now is to get the midpoint. Okay. I have 7.5, so half of that is 3/4. Then from that point, I will come in by 3/4 inch, which is here. Then take my armhole curve. So this is for the front armhole now. And then the back armhole. That was pretty easy, and we are as good as done. So the next thing now is to determine the type of neckline you want. The width depends on you, and then the depth depends on you. So here now I will make use of 3.5 inches. So this is 3 inches. Remember the 3 inches standard. So the remaining half will be along this slope. So that's what I have this here. So for the depth, I can make use of 3.5 too, or 3/3, or 4. That totally depends on you. So the next thing now is to take my armhole curve and then map it out. So this is what I have. So for the back neckline, I'll just come down by 1 inch from the baseline. And take your armhole curve to map that out. And do not forget one thing, your shoulder hemming allowance. So I want 1/2 inch for that. So 1/2 inch is here. And from here to 1/2 inch, we'll use my ruler to connect. And we are as good as done. So the next thing now is to cut out the 2 fabrics together. Remember, I placed both the back and the front together. So make sure you pin yours so that the folds will be on each other. So the next thing now is to cut out our fabric. I will be cutting the back neck first. Remember, we are cutting the 2 fabrics together. And also the back armhole. So now we have done that. So what I'll do now is to remove this back panel. So right now I will remove this back panel and then continue with the front panel. So what will I do with the front panel now? I will cut off the neckline and then the front armhole, because it saves us time to cut both the front and the back together. Can you see that? Then the next thing now is to open this front slit. Remember, I said it's a front slit jacket, so I will just open this all through. And then we have our jacket ready. So this is the front part, and this will be for the back. So the next thing now is to cut the stripe for both the front and back, and then the stripe for the front slit opening. right now for the upper part, so I'm going to be using this fabric. Right now I just fold a little. I want the width to be like 1.5 inches. So what I will just do is to take one part of this front panel and then place it this way. Make sure this open part is on this folded area, because we are still going to slit this in particular. And you see that. The next thing now is to take my chalk and then trace out the neck region. So once I've done this, then I want it to be like 2.5 inches. So by the time I take in 1 inch, half an inch or 3/4 inch, I'll still be left with the 1 inch I want. So that will be here. Can you see that? Then follow the slant. The reason why I did this is also because of the shoulder slant. So after doing that, I can remove this. Then since I use 2.5 here, then I'll keep rotating it. 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. But when I get here, I will then come here. Remember, the curve is coming this way, so just stop here, then come here. 2.5, 2.5. So by the time I will pop this out, and you see that it's so perfect. So then you just go in a straight manner this way. And you see that. So I will just do it up to the length I want. So I will go 2.5 all through. Right now I have everything mapped out. So mere looking at this, you know we are almost done. So the next thing now is to cut it out. Remember, it's on both sides. We folded it because we'll be using it on both panels in the front. So right now I will continue cutting from the lower part. So in this area, don't just go too sharp, just in a curvy manner. So right now, this is what I have. So before opening it up, I will just slit this part. So I will show you how this looks. So this is what it looks like, and you see what we just got out. So we just place it on it, then sew it from this side to turn it over. So right now we'll go over to the pockets. For the pockets now, I have 2 fabrics. Can you see this? So wrong side on each other. So for this, I made this 10.5, but eventually it will be 9 inches. So ½ inch will be for the lower part and 1 inch will be for the upper part. So these 3 inches, I made these 3 inches. So this will be for the turn off for 1, because I want to have this at the edge of the pockets. And for the width, I made this 10 inches. So by the time I take in 1 inch here, 1 inch here, I will be having 8 inches here. So the next thing now is to start sewing our jacket. So before sewing our jacket together, I want this fabric also to be on the armhole area. So what I will do is, I will have to cut for both the back and the front. This is for the front panel. I just folded this leftover fabric and then place it this way. Let me place it on fold. So I will be cutting 2 for the front and 2 for the back. Then I'll just mark this out. Then I will just measure 2 inches or 2.5 inches inward. Then draw a straight line along the shoulder slope. So after doing this, Can you see what I have? So this is 2 inches, then I keep measuring 2 inches all through. So I will now cut this to have 2. So this is for the armhole. Now I will have to open up this. So this will be for one part of the front. Can you see? So it will be like this. This is for the front. So I will do the same thing in which I cut this also for the back. So now all the material I'll be using for the turn up, I use my pressing iron to just fold in the hemming allowance. Can you see that? Around this curved area, all you have to do is to notch. After notching, then use your iron to press it in. So what you will have at the end of the day is something like this on your jacket. So how will you now sew it? This is the right side. So all you have to do is to turn to the wrong side this way. And this is the right side of the fabric. So right side on the wrong side. Can you see that? Then you just pin it down. Can you see that? Then you sew it all through. Can you see that? So after you've sewn it like this on the wrong side, so by the time you are through with that, you just bring it out. So once you now bring it out, this is what you have. You now have your perfect turn up. Can you see that? So the material will now be on the right side on the main fabric. Did you see that? So this is what it looks like. Then for the armhole area, at the end of the day, you have something like this. So what you also do is that this right side of the material, you turn it to the left side of your fabric. Can you see that? So once you sew it all through on the wrong, can you see that? Then you now bring it out. So this is what you will have at the end of the day. Can you see that? So you have the right side of the material on your fabric. So for the pockets, this is for the pockets. I told you at the end of the day, after taking in your hemming allowance, you have something like this. So this will also be for the turn up. So I've also folded it. So the first thing I will do now is to sew this, the neck region and the front slit, and also the armhole. Then I will show you how it looks. So right now, this is the wrong side of the fabric and I have sewn it. Remember I told you, this is the right side. You should sew the turn up on the left side of the fabric. Can you see that? This is the armhole. Then you notch. After notching, then you now bring this, you cut this up. You trim this up so it will make that place sharp. So this is what you have. So make use of your pressing iron. So now on the right side, this is what you will have. And you see that was pretty easy. And you see it. So this is what you have on the right side. So for the armhole area, so just bring it forward too. So with your pressing iron, just bring it forward. This way also. Then you will sew. Not sew on this. Then you have your perfect front panel. So I will just finish it up and then show you how it looks again. So right now, after sewing the material, so can you see how it looks on the wrong side? This is for the back, the neckline, just the same way we cut for the front, the armhole. So right now I'll show you for the front what it looks like. Can you see that? So everything has been inserted. So this is for the pocket. Just come down from your waist 3 or 3.5 inches from your waist to fix your pocket. So for this I have to use a matching thread to fix here to here. So I will use the black thread to continue fixing this. So don't make that mistake. So this is how it looks. This is for the other side. Can you see that? So beautiful. So I'll just fix this other pocket, fix this, then join the front and the back. And that's all on how to make your jacket. And this is the result of my front slit jacket. You can see it's so lovely and beautiful. Just give it a try and share with us on our Facebook group. Can you see I use my serger to just finish it up to have this lovely finishing. I will just put it on what I have on just to show you how it looks and how beautiful it is. Let me do that now. And this is the result of my front slit jacket. Can you see so beautiful and lovely? You should give it a try, and I'm sure it will come out nice. Just make it and share with us on our Facebook group, Sewing Innovations on Facebook. And do not forget to follow me on Instagram, Bilikis. I will be waiting for you there. Don't forget to subscribe, tell your friends about it, and bye for now.